If I mute that thing, I will miss all the calls. That's the problem with it, and it wouldn't stop. Okay, good afternoon, traders. Welcome to our trading room. We are in our New York session, and we're going live on YouTube for our YouTube viewers who hopefully would eventually join us. So let's go. Yep, that's kind of like a shameless plug, right? Let's go. Okay. I received a question because I think, remember we did the earlier when I think it was a couple months ago, we did the promotion where if you pay for 1 month, we will allow you to get 2 months, and then you're going to take. So quite a few people took it. Not all of them continue it, right? And I guess it's because of the size of their account, because quite a lot of them were saying that they don't have a big account, but the $100 for the 2 months was great for them. And, some of them stopped it. A lot of them continue. So I got a message from one of them saying, hey, if I take this one again and you give me 2 months, will you count the $100 I paid in the past, right? Because normally you're supposed to continue with $100 every month after that, right? If you miss a month, but you continue with $100 a month, we still account for your money. Your money doesn't go anywhere, right? It's there. So anytime you continue it, you get it. Now, he's asking if he can still get the 2 month, but we add the money. Okay. If you had done it before, we'll do it for you. I get it that some of you have small accounts and it's very tough for you. $100 might be nothing for a lot of us, and for a lot of people, it's quite a lot of money, right? I get that, pretty much. But you have to be aware, if you have a small account, trade very accurate. And I think it might be safer for you to trade with us if you have a small account. You can still trade the way you trade, but you're going to have our opinion twice daily. So for those traders, Vic, if they do, we give them, if they've done it before and they left and they come back and they wanted 2 months, we'll give everybody, let's say anybody who paid now will get the 2 months. If you want to continue paying every month, it's okay with you. If you don't want to, you can wait 2 months and then pay. So you will be up to end of November, right? Because he asked the question. I wasn't even thinking about that until I got the message, and I was like, okay, well, that is something I have to think about. Because that was never a thing until I got the question, right? So, okay, we'll do it for you. So if that person isn't here, we'll do it for you. If any one of you had done it before and you want to come back, you will get until the end of November. So remember, I think the confusion with the installment traders is they're not really getting the clear message. It's not how much you pay per month. You still have to pay one set of money, just one fixed sum of money you have to pay. That's all. The longer you take to pay, the longer you take to actually get in the group. So we have traders who are like halfway their payment, and right now they're trying to pay the other half in like the next 2 months so that they can be in the group for the November class that we'll be having, the November live training session. So we'll be having a live training session in November, and I've already got message from at least one trader who is trying to pay out the other half of his installment payment within this 2 months so that he can get in the group. Right? So the idea is to get into the group, because that's where you get every single thing you possibly need to become a successful trader. Getting access to the live session is good. It still gives you a lot. We even invite them sometime when there's late news sessions, like if there's FOMC or, I think 10 p.m. my time, we still use the link for the installment traders so that they get access to that session, which actually was only supposed to be for our traders. A lot of the new sessions, I do allow them to come in because I understand that, their whole idea is to help you trade and be successful, not let you lose your account. That's the whole purpose of that. There's no other purpose to that. That's the point. Help traders become successful. Right? If the purpose was only sell you things, trust me, there's a lot of things I can sell you. Even with this, you know how many things other traders are selling, right? So you don't need me to tell you, like, today alone, I had about 3 propositions for sponsorship. One of them was from a broker who says, I will pay you if you just use my name. Basically, anything I talk about that broker, or I put it in here, or I mention them or whatever, and I'll get paid for that. Right? And I get those propositions like every single day, at least one. And I'm not talking about the cryptocurrencies that are offering me. If I make a small video for them, I'll get paid for that. And if I mention them in my video, I'll get paid. I get all of those propositions. A lot of the gurus are using it, and I don't care. That's their choice. I'm not saying it's wrong. Some advertisement is a thing. Nothing is wrong with that. It's just not my thing. It's just not what I want to do, because that means I will be compromising my analysis. If I have to push one specific crypto, I'll compromise myself and compromise my analysis, and I don't want to do that. If I have to push one broker, I don't get to tell you anything bad about brokers, and there's not a lot of very good things about brokers, right? So if somebody comes to me and said, "Hey, do you think this broker can do this, or is this a thing in the brokerage?" I'll have to say about that. So I'm leaving myself open to say whatever I want, especially if that is going to help traders, and I think it's a real thing. And you can actually, if you didn't see this morning video, watch it at the very end. There was a question that I answered. I think the question was something about I think was gaps and all of that stuff. Watch that piece, because it's important. And I know a lot of traders who are trading, active traders, and not only traders, some people who make YouTube videos, they have very little understanding what the chart is. And I'm not kidding, and I'm not trying to put anybody down. But they really don't understand what the chart is. They think the chart is candles that are being created. The chart is statistics, it's basic stats. And a lot of them will not be able to tell you what the basic stats is. They really think it's about the candlestick and about the color and about, the support and resistance in it, or about this thing, or about, it's not even about the patterns. It's about stats and what you do with the stats. So there are gaps like all over the chart. If you actually take out the candlesticks and the coloring, and you actually dot like you just put the dot for every transaction, all you're going to have is a set of dots on the chart, nothing else, right? Some are going to be big block dots because millions of transactions on the same spot, and some are going to be dots that are going to be far away from each other. So what we do in our group is we share knowledge. And I learned from my traders, a lot of things I learned from my traders, because we have really smart traders in the group. I learn a lot from them. If I have any problem, Victor is always there. Right? Any technical problem, Victor is there. They help me, we help each other, and we learn. It's about sharing knowledge in the group. That's what this group is about. Right? If I don't know something, I would go into my group and say, "Hey guys, can anybody tell me about this? Or does anybody know anything about this?" And I can guarantee you I'll get more than one answer. And I'll get the answer from people who are actually specialized in that field that I'm asking about. People who know what they're saying. So, knowledge is something you have to share. There's no price to knowledge. So what we are sharing in our group has no price. It's priceless. You can't buy it. So people ask me, what do you charge for? I charge for my time. Right now, you're getting my time for free. But if you want me to sit down and train you and use that intensive time to do practicals, you don't at least pay for that time. The rest of it is free. For the rest of your life, you're going to have my time for free. Then can you pay for the 6 weeks course? That's all I'm asking. Right? So it's not about sales. It's about the value of my time. If I go give it away free, then my time has no value. And then it becomes useless. If something has no value, it becomes useless. So my time has value. I can tell you that my time has value. You want my time, it's worth something. I give it to my traders for free for their lifetime because I like being in the group. I like being with them. I enjoy it. If I'm not there for a week when I'm sick, you can believe I'm very bored at home. I get very tired. I want to come in the room because it's fun and it's enjoyable. So I hope we get off of that part, right? Look at this morning's video. Even if you watch the end, I would encourage you to run the whole video, please. But even if you just want to watch the end, run the video and then watch the end, or watch the end and then put it back to the start and run it. Because YouTube engine works in such a way, if you watch a little piece, they think the video is not important. And then they don't promote it. So let's go. Let's start. So remember we were showing the euro yen, and I mentioned this a number of times, right? We're looking for this trade up. This trade should come here. And then from there, it could literally drop. Or it will go back up one more time and drop. This morning, we give all the thing about it, but this is a buy setup right now. You put an entry order here, and we'll manage this trade. If this thing starts going out of this, we want the trade, right? So that's a good trade. Michael just gave you this morning video there, so you can click on it, but better to search it. I like if you do the search, and if you go to FOREX TRADING Anil Mangal, it's search it, because the search engine likes when you search, right? You can do that anytime. You can watch it not after we finish, or you can go search it. That will help. Thanks. So let's go. This is one that you can look. Gold, we were in the gold from this morning. I was just talking about this. If my traders, remember what I said, it will probably consolidate still, right? So you can do two things. You can either close and re-enter or survive this one. I think you should survive this one because it's going to go up more. There's a flag. On the 5 minutes, that's an incomplete flag. As far as I'm concerned, it's a little incomplete. It could be there's a contracting flat here, but I don't like contracting flat. So I'm going to make an assumption that it's a running flat, which means I believe this might come back here one more time and then go. If it comes one more time and break this low, we'll move that entry order to this point. But for now, we're keeping the entry order above the top. So this is where we were in from this morning. And this is the second entry. So if you are not in the trade from this morning, this is your entry. Once this, if this comes back to the bottom here, and I do believe it will come back here, we're going to move that entry order to this point. We're going to change that line to look like this, and then we're going to look for this trade up. Don't buy it to the bottom here. Don't do that. This is not a guarantee to go up, right? So don't do that. This could end up becoming a flat. And let me explain this because this is important in wave analysis, and I don't think this is getting out a lot there, and especially a lot of the other wave traders. This doesn't mean if you see this looks like a flag, it doesn't mean there's 100% it's going to go. You have to look at the picture on the 4-hour and the 1 hour, and you have to have the bigger picture in mind. It is going to go up in the bigger picture, but in the smaller picture, this could drop here and then do this and then do this and then do this and then do this. And if we see this, it will come back here and then drop. Now, you may say, well, what if I buy it here and then it's going to come back, I'll still get break even? And I'm going to tell you, well, then it can do this and do this and do this and come back here and then drop. And that would be a perfect running flat. Now, that could happen to you. And that has happened to many traders who would even write me and said, there was a really good flag. I bought it. And I'm like, well, show me it. And then they show me and I was like, well, dude, you bought the wrong place. You didn't allow it to prove it's a flag. Yeah, but it was looking like a flag. And I agree with you, it was looking like a flag, but you didn't look at the bigger picture. And then I'll show them the bigger picture that we are waiting for a flat to drop. And then it's, oh, well, I didn't see that, right? So don't do that. There are times when, yes, that is a possibility. In this case, it's not, right? So we'll have to let it prove that it's actually going to go up. Let it come here, and then we're going to do this and put the entry there, right? And don't expect this to go up. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't go, then okay, we'll deal with it. For traders who are in this one, if this comes here and go back there, we will get it to break even. So should it drop again, we'll accept break even. We're not trading for this. We're trading for the big trade up. So if this gives you break even, that would be okay. It's too early to put the break even. If they want to put it to break even, that's okay. If you want to close it here and re-enter there, that's okay. There is no right way in doing that. These three options I give you, there's no right way in doing it. Put it to break even, don't put it to break even, take it out here and put an entry there, or stay with it here and then close it for break even later. Those are the three options, and there's no right or wrong one. Those are just different styles of trading. Right? And each style will depend on how you feel. Do you feel comfortable keeping it and watch it come back into your buying price and then, go back up? If you don't, then close it. Put an entry above the top. If you're okay with that psychologically, you can manage that, stay with the trade. I would say stay with the trade. I can't tell you what to do, but I would stay with the trade and then wait for it to go back and then put it to break even. Are you okay with it going through here and then waiting for it to come back and close it? That's okay. This one we'll still get a chance to close. We wouldn't probably get a chance to close one that is tagged at the top here, one that is tagged at the bottom here, right? There are many ways you can deal with this. So let's see. Let's wait and let it come back, and then we'll get. I would put this like here. It's a little too early to do that, but I think it's going to come back, so we can do that, and then we'll put the entry. Once it comes to the bottom, put the entry up there. Let's go. So those are two trades that we'll tell you to take. There's a lot of trades that we took already this morning. They're gone. A lot of them are already pretty high, like on the Euro Oz and Pound Oz and all of that, but we look at them. First, let me start. Once again, good afternoon to everybody. I hope you know my name, right? Because you're in the group, Anil Mangal. But just in case some new traders are watching, welcome. I don't know if anybody new joined us, welcome. But if they'll get to see the video, my name is Anil Mangal, and we use wave analysis, right? It's called wave theory, something I created based on the fact that the chart moves in waves, and it's derived from after learning Elliott wave and learning Dow theory and all of that, I came up with this new whole system called wave analysis. And you would hear about wave trading and wave analysis a lot now. You don't hear about Elliott wave a lot, sorry about that, but that's the reality on YouTube right now. Let's go. Dollar index. It pulled back and it's still going, which means there's still a buy setup at the top here. This is going to go some more, but here's what you have to do. You have to be every one of these. This one was a good trade because we didn't break that top, right? That top was not broken. So this was a good trade. This now is a good trade, but you have to be careful because in this case, they might just break this top and then go. We were expecting this to be a flat. So this was still a good trade. Now that it's out there, either we go with this running flat. Let me go back to the 1 hour. Either we go with this running flat here that we think it's possible, or there's a future running flat. Now, I don't think there's a future running flat because the difference is we don't have any, this is really sharp. So this could go more and we don't know the limit to where it can go. We definitely don't know that, but you have to be careful that because we have divergence, any one of them could be the last impulse to the upside. So you take the trade, but you have to be able to manage your way out of it should it not go. So as I put an entry order here, it's just one sharp pullback, but we had similar kind of move here. There's a flat in front here. You can make an argument for this being more of correctiveness, not just one sharp move, but something like this, depending how you look at it. It would be better for us if this actually comes back here and then go. So if you get a flat like that, that would make more sense. The longer they consolidate there, the better the trade is for you. So we'll be looking for a buy setup. You can put it there if you decide that all of this is part of the correction. If you don't, wait for this to pull back and then take the trade. That would be a better option. Silver. Okay. We had this morning, and I told you if you were there this morning that it's very unlikely this one is going to tag you, especially if it's not an expanding flat. Which means is this 1, 2, 3 wasn't an expanding flat. It will not tag you. If it was, then it will drop tag you. So they're consolidating here. I think that's a good buy setup. This should come back. If we look at this, there's a pull there, there's a come here, go there. It should come back a little and then go, but put an entry right now. So we'll take the entry here and we'll put it for the entry for a buy. We are expecting this to go up. That's a really small flag. I hope it gets more. And when we look at that, first we look at this as a correction of this move, only this move. But if you go into 4 hours and you look at it, it could be more than that, right? If you think of this as a 1, 2, 3, then this could actually be a big move to the upside, retest this top. But for now, we will only treat it as a correction of this move here. And then we'll see if it gets faster, if it moves up faster, if it gets, the impulse becoming very sharp, and then we'll probably stay with it. So an entry for a buy above the top here is a good idea. Make sure it's above the top. You may want to keep it a pip or so above the top, which is good. So that's a buy setup. I'll have to put it closer, put it like this. That's a buy setup. So I'll put that as a buy. That's an active buy. Gold, active buy. Euro, not as yet. See, euro came back pretty deep. I'm expecting a move up on the euro, but that could become a flat and one more drop. See, when this one came back pretty deep, we knew that if they go up, and we actually bought this, for those of you who were there, you remember that trade. So this could go up here. We're probably not going to buy this. We're going to just let it go up and then look for the sell, because the down move is really huge. So we're going to skip the euro for now. Pong, it kind of dropped. And I don't think this is all the correction. I think that could be part of a correction that might start to repeat the same thing here, make a running flat here and drop one more. So the up move on the silver, the gold might be just deeper corrections, right? If we look at what Pong and Euro is doing, the point is that those might be deeper corrections. I don't think we're reversing. If this makes a really good flag, like if they actually go back and if we think that's a nice running flat, we'll sell it. Like this one, right? Remember that sell? So we'll sell it if we see that as a good running flat. Right now, it's not the best running flat. So selling at the bottom is a bad idea. Let's see if we get more corrections and then we sell. Aussie. Remember I said you wait for this to go up, you wait for a flag before you trade it. Otherwise, you're upside down on a trade now. It's going more, and I think Aussie can go some more. From yesterday, those of you who were in yesterday, that was the sell, it's coming. This could go more. We don't know how far more it's going to go. We're within the structure. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this because we did all of that this morning. You should watch that thing. We did the hourly, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, all. So you should watch it. And from here somewhere, I think we will be going up. So we will look for a turn in it. They can go much lower, but I don't think it's going to go much lower. What is this? Why is this floating around by itself here? This is the low. I wonder why it's floating here. This is the low. We can even tag that low. It wouldn't change. It would be a running flat if they tag the low. Now, Can we sell it here to go tag the low? That's a bad idea. That's a really, really bad idea. If you're going to sell it here to go tag the low, you want to make sure you get a correction. Then we will sell that to go tag the low. Because if you get a correction, the chances are they might get to the low. If you without a correction, this thing is going to turn or correct itself anytime. So let's see if we get a turn. If we get a turn, we'll take the trade to the upside. Right now, there's nothing. Right? If it makes a flag, you can sell. This is a really small flag. And if you sold that, you would still probably be at break even. New Zealand. This was a sell, by the way. New Zealand turned out that this could have been a sell here. Kind of, it's not the best flag. It's not the best correction, but you could put a sell. It's making another one. And if they actually do this, we can sell this again. New Zealand is a surprise because I didn't think they were going to drop that much. I thought they were going to drop this much. Right now, it still looks like a flat, only it looks like an expanding flat. So as of now, this still looks like an expanding flat, which makes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it still looks like an expanding flat. This thing actually is doing something of its own. So I don't think, any of this belongs to that. So we'll still keep an eye here. If it goes up from here now, we will retest the top. I hope it doesn't go up like this, but instead it go up like this and then drop, because it looks like it's going to drop one more. We will see. When we break the top, we'll see if they're going to drop or not. Now, if it goes up like this, that would be disaster because you're going to get a few break-even trades and that's about it. So let's see if this is turning. What would be the turn? Well, it's simple. It has to go up some more. It literally has to go up some more. Make a flag here, and then we'll start trading this flag to the upside. I will be taking that flag to come and break this top. It might go up like this. It might make a few more flags to get there, but that's okay. The more flags, the more entries you have. So we're looking for buy setups. I'll put it looking for buy setups. I'm not sure we'll get it, but if you're buying this one, we bought this morning here and you close it for break even. And then if you're buying it above this top now, that's a good trade. All right, that's a trade from this morning. There's a nice running flat here. I think everybody can see that. A nice running flat. This might go some more. Get that to break even as soon as you can. Once it goes there, pull back and go put it to break even because there's no telling when it's going to drop, right? And we still have this sharp one waiting, right? That means anytime it can drop. Previously, let's take this one. See when this one happened and they went up, they broke the top and they went a little higher, but then they dropped. We broke the top. See, we broke the top. This can still go a little higher, but don't be surprised when that drop comes, right? Because I think it's coming. So that would be a running flat most likely. Swiss. This one is a little surprise too because we didn't think it was going to go that far. We had this arrow to come here, come back to the bottom and then go, or drop to the bottom totally. Well, it actually broke the top, so it just tells us they're going to keep going up. But before they go up, we want this straight to the downside. So we saw this morning and I was like, that's not really a good buy. If you bought it here. I still don't like it because I want this move to happen. So even if it goes a little more, I want them to pull back and then go. If we pull back and get a sell setup, we'll take it. And then this becomes a buy from the bottom here as a running flat, right? So if I'm going to buy here, it has to be a bigger flag. I don't like this running flat because that's within this impulse. So if I'm going to buy anything here, this thing has to kind of like do something like this. And then, yes, I'll consider another buy, right? So unless it does that, I'll just ignore it. Buy something else if you have to. You have better trades to go with. So once we get this, if we get this today, do we have any news event today? Yeah, we have news at 6 p.m. Okay, that would be in the trading room. That would be in our trading room. We'll go in the trading room. So what I'm looking for is if this comes down back before then, or we might get that during the news and then go up back. Because we're aiming for that running flat. We have a lot of these running flats, so it's not new. You know where they are and you couldn't see. So let's wait for a sell setup here. We don't have anything. We can wait for a sell setup. Right now it's a buy, but I'm just not buying it. CAD, same thing with the CAD. I'm expecting a pullback. CAD also broke the top. See? So if we think CAD broke the top and it's going to go up, it needs to pull back at least because you got all the consolidation here. This is the 1, 2, 3, an ABC kind of a structure to go back up. So this one is telling us it can come down and then go up. Swiss is telling us it can come down and then go up. Yen is the only one that, right now it's going up, but we still have this hanging too, right? We still have this hanging. So at some point, this has to come back here and then go. So the three of them seems to have one more move down before they go up. Well, good for us, right? At least we know there's one more move coming and there's news coming at 6 p.m. At any given one, we want the drop on a small flag. I want the drop on a small flag here. Then it's a good, really good sell. This probably go there, come back here, make a flag here, and then we'll go, right? Now it's 4 o'clock. I don't think we'll get it in 2 hours, but that will be really nice. Same with the Swiss. Swiss is already coming, so good. I think we'll ignore the yen, trade the Swiss. Swiss is already coming. So I want this to come a little more like this. And the next 2 hours to do this. At least give me a couple 15 minutes candle there. And we will take this trade. And then we'll be looking for the upside. So if we get that, great. If not, well, then we'll figure out what to do with it. CAD is the same thing. CAD is not coming down as yet, but that is what I like to see. I like to see it come down somewhere here, make a flag, and that would be a good sell. If the news doesn't bring it down, then tomorrow we'll get that flag, we'll sell it. Euro Oz, good trade. I think this was a trade from yesterday in the New York session to buy. I showed you this thing. I think I showed you the bigger structure as well, why we think it's going to go up and why I think from this point they can actually go up. If you don't remember it, watch yesterday's webinar, New York session, and you'll see. So that turned out to be a good buy. That is still a valid buy. I mean, if there's another flag, we'll buy again. So for you to buy that now, you want it to do something like this. You want to see a flag here. And then that becomes a buy. Don't try to jump in the top there because that's a top right now until it makes a flag and then go again, right? So wait for the flag. And this morning, we also showed the possibilities of this as a running flat. I think that's less possible now. Euro New Zealand, that buy setup, I think from yesterday, you remember, actually showed this. I showed the bigger pattern and the possibility that if it does go, we're expecting it to go a little lower, but if it does go up from here, take the trade because that would be enough to make this running flat, right? So we're expecting this move to be the equivalent of this, which is where the arrow is. And like I said, if it does break out of that, make a flag there, buy that, because then that could be enough for the running flat and they go up. So we are going to treat that like a running flat for upside. Any flag will buy. It's making another flag, you can buy. This is like a 15 minutes flag, so better to wait for a 1 hour flag. By the way, if you were with our group, you would have probably bought this here. So right now, it's still a good trade. It's going to start to correct at some point. So what you want to see is when it starts to do this. When it starts to do this, you can do two things. You can close your trade and re-enter, or you can put it to break even and try to survive that. None of those two options are right or wrong. They're just different options. And depending on trading is about what makes you comfortable, right? Is there an advantage in one of those? Yes, there's an advantage in closing it here and putting the entry there. Now, I can go through the whole process of why, but that is going to be a long half an hour explanation. So let's go on. This is not, just rarely it's going to drop through the bottom. I think mostly they'll start to consolidate. Even if they're going to go down, we'll get a flag and we'll consider a sell. So right now it's a buy. I expect a flag here and then upside. So we'll leave that. Euro yen. This is the buy setup right now. And this trade is not triggered as yet, just like the Euro New Zealand was not triggered yesterday. So let me show you back this one. Yesterday we had an entry over here. This trade was coming down. Today, that's your trade. Euro yen, it came down. This is your trade for the upside. We expect it to come and break this stop. Take the trade here, put a stop here. That's what we would do. That's not what I'm telling you to do, right? I can't tell you to take any trade. I'm just telling you how we would take it and how my traders will take it, right? So let's go. EuroCAD. I think we might look at this as a possible expanding flat. I'm not sure. This one was an expanding flat. It looks like an expanding flat because we broke the top. So now what we're going to do, if you were in that trade, you should have closed the trade and re-enter. And if you re-enter and you're tagged in it, you may want to close it again because we're there for a long time and it's not going anywhere. So if you were tagged in this trade yesterday, remember that when it tagged here, you should have closed it here. If you did that, perfect. If you didn't, when it go back up, close it. If you tagged in it here now, you still want to close it because this is not going anywhere. Can you put an entry order here? You can do that, but it's better to wait for a flag now, if it gives a flag. I think there's a good chance that we might get a bigger correction, which means this might start to make a bigger correction here. And then go, because we've got one small one, and we broke the top. Now, if it makes a flag, still buy it. Still a buy. And the up move is pretty huge. So we're still looking for a buy here. I'll take this out, wait for flags, buy. If it starts to correct, then we'll see. Euro Swiss. Okay, that went back way back to the top. So it's probably going to drop one more, but that deep pullback is not a good idea. I think we leave this. If we get a good flag here, sell it. Let's put it this way. If this comes here and make a nice flag at it here, then you can consider this sell to break this low. It's a small trade. Right now, it's not the best one. Take that off. Euro pound definitely did exactly what we wanted to do. So now we're going to put this entry here. If you didn't remember this explanation from yesterday, please go watch it again. We kept it here because we were somewhere here and I said they're going to come here. It's going to go up. And then there's a chance it could drop back really sharp and then go. So we didn't put it anywhere higher because of that, right? Now, if they're going to come back sharp, it's going to be the equivalent of this. So I think keeping your entry, maybe even a little lower, is a safe thing. Because if it is going to come down back to make this running flat and then go back up, and the up should be a 1, 2, 3, like from here a 1, a 2, and a 3, break this top and then drop here. This becomes a big running flat for upside, one more up. So the higher we go into this, the more this comes here and then go back up. This is still a sell. We'll look for a sell setup. But you can put this entry because if this drops through the bottom from here, then it will be total downside, right? If it drops from there, let's see which one it is. It's possible that they could drop from there and that's total downside, right? Because in the big picture, you have this one, right? If you look across here, you had this move here. Then you made this correction and this drop, right? Now, this is a much bigger correction than this is, but they're similar. See the similarities, right? So if this one doesn't go anywhere higher, but starts to drop, it's going to come back to the bottom. But if it actually goes, come here and go back up there, then we're at this top. It's going to probably do that. Come here still for the sell, but then go back, retest the top, and then do this. This will become a big flat. Right? So we'll see what it is. Let's see how it goes. I like the sell setup. I'm putting the entry order just in case. If it drops, you want to be the trade. So, Pangos. Buy setup. We had this for a possible sell with this yesterday, but then it made a flag, and if it makes a flag, it's a buy to the upside. That is the trade our traders took in. There was news in the Aussie this morning, so that's a good trade if you take it. If you didn't take it, no big deal. We will wait for more consolidation, and if it makes another flag, you buy. This is still early to tell, but if this, because we're out of that structure, if this actually, come on, do that. If this actually makes another flag here, this becomes a buy, and every flag will be a buy to the upside. So let's go. Pong Yen. Pong Yen is coming down, but this is very corrective. If you took the trade yesterday, that's great. I don't know how many of you took it. That was a trade call we made. Right? Trade call from here that it's going to drop. And when this pullback, I think we were in the room when you had that pullback. I was like, ignore that pullback, let it come here and then put it to break even. If you did that, you're still in the trade. If you close the trade anywhere, no problem. Just wait for re-entry. Right now, I think we're making a flat here, so we're going to have another sell setup. See? So you can put an entry order under this low right now. It's actually a valid sell right now. The longer it stays here, the more it stays like this, the better that trade is to the downside. We're going to at least get one more impulse here. It could be more. It could go much deeper. We don't know how deep that is going to go. Right? We don't know. We're actually in this thing coming. They could come back all the way back to here. They could even go much lower than that if you look at the bigger picture. Right? Let's say, for example, we're trying to do this. I'll go to the daily. Let's say they're trying to come back, I don't know, to this point here. But they're coming slow. Yeah, they can happen. They'll come slowly and then go back and slowly and slowly and slowly work its way all the way to this one and then go back up. Do I think they're going to drop now? I would have gone with that if we weren't coming down so slow. See, we have this sharp one. And all of this is in that sharp move. Put it in the weekly so you can see that. Right? This is what it looks like in the weekly. You had to move up. You had to move down, you had to move up or move down, and now you're getting all this consolidation here. So at some point, this comes back to the bottom here. and then maybe go back as a 1, 2, 3 to the top. But this, because of this sharp move here and all this consolidation, at some point it comes back here and then go back up. Now, here's what is you have to be careful of, is that this could also just keep working its way up to the top, then come back here and then go. And that would still be a flat that we're looking at. Only this time, now it's a running flat. So there could still be buy setups here. And that is why, because this is looking so corrective coming down, it's not dropping really fast. We do trade it, but we trade it with a lot of caution. So this was a good trade yesterday. I mean, if you took that trade, you made money, right? If this drop again, you can take the trade, but keep an eye on this arrow, because once they come here, they can probably go back up. And then we would look, if you close the trade here and you take profit and it starts to go up, we'll look for buy setups. Pound Swiss? Yeah, I think the best thing is leave that alone. Let's see if we get a buy setup now. So this drop to this point, and we are expecting it to go back up to the top. Let's see if we have a buy setup. Not as yet, but they are consolidating in here. So if they pull back a little more, there's about 4 hours consolidation. Let it pull back a little deeper and then look for that trade up. If we get, I will take it. So this is the buy setup we're looking for. Pound New Zealand. So this one is gone. Let me, I explained this one this morning, how we should have traded, because you should have closed the trade. We had the buy entry, but you should have closed that, because that gave you a lot of opportunities to close. And if you did, that's great. If you didn't, then you probably did. You should have closed it somewhere at the positive and re-enter. Right now we're at the top. And it's making a flag here. So that flag is telling me 2 things. This is going to drop, or it's going to come down slowly here and go back up. Maybe it's going to make a flat here and then go back up. That would be a buy. So a flat, if it makes a flat, we buy. If this remains a flag, it's a sell. So put it in there. I'm just going to stretch it so you can see. We're consolidating in this range. So if it stays here and it's going to drop, that would be a sell setup. Now I'm going to put the line there now. You shouldn't put it the entry number. I'm just putting a line to remind us what we're planning. If it stays in this range, I'm going to put 2 lines so you can figure out what I'm saying. If it stays in this range, we will sell. If it goes above the range, which means if this goes above here, pull back, we're going to be buying it. Let's see which one it gives us. Pound CAD. Okay, we have an entry to sell. It's going back up. This is not good. Take this out. Actually, I hope you took it out before, because once it comes back to the top here, we're no longer selling. We're no longer selling. We're actually buying now. Now that looks like a contracting flat. Here's a dilemma in trading. That looks like a very nice contracting flat. If you're trading this, you can put an entry above the top and assume that this is going to take off like a rocket, because that would be a bigger correction. You kind of get this one, you get a small one here, you go there, make a bigger one, and that goes. I don't like contracting flats, because all contracting flats tend to be, well, most of them tend to become running flats. So this can go there, you know, kind of tag you and still come back here and then go. Well, not all the way. It could stop here and then go, but it could break that top and pull you down for a good period of time, which is going to make you really nervous. Because if you don't know running flats and how they behave, or expanding flats, that would make you really nervous. So if you're going to take this trade, here's what I would like to see. I would like to see it make a flag here. And then we can take this flag with a stop here. And once it breaks that up, get it to break even and see if this takes off. Because if this just break the top and come back, that would be a running flat in the making. See? And you definitely don't want to be a trade. So we'll take it off for break even. Now, can that pattern change into something more complex than what I just showed you? That is possible, but what we have right now and the possibility of what it could do is put an entry above the top and trade it, right? Or wait for a flag and trade it. Now, the entry above the top is for more seasoned traders. That is if it takes off really fast. For the traders who are not, since it's not a regular flat, probably wait for a flag. So this is a buy setup, right? Aussie Swiss. It's making a flag here, but I'm not sure if there's a lot more downside to this. And that flag is inside this sharp move. There's a sharp move here also for a possible running flat. You can make an argument for this being a running flat because you have some corrections here. The question is, how far would this go? So let's go look and take a look. It's going to go far. So here's what you're going to do. We'll have to treat this with a lot of, I think this flat is still in the making. Forget about that. I think this one is still in the making. This one is probably going to come here, go back up, make that flat, and then drop. But what if this is the running flat and this one actually drops? So what we're going to do is we're going to get aggressive. We're going to put an intrader here, right in the middle of that whole piece there. Don't put your stop here. Put your stop a little higher, right? Put your stop somewhere here, for example. Now, this is going to be delicate to explain and might confuse some of you. So this is what I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it to come here and go back up. But because we have this possibility here, we're going to take this trade because it could drop through the bottom, right? I'm not expecting this, but it could happen. And if that happens, we want to be in the trade. What I'm expecting is this to come here and go back up. If we get a chance to see that it's going back up, or if we see that it's going back, which means it's going to come down really slow, take it off a break even or small one, right? And when it goes back up, we look for the sell from the top. So we'll put that intrader in. For my traders, that's an intrader we will put in because the bigger trade is really good. I think you get my point. That bigger trade is coming to break this low, and you don't want to miss it. Right? We're getting it from a very good point. We're getting this from somewhere here, and that could be a big drop. You could add to the trade rather than take. So let's see if it goes. If it becomes a bigger flat, we'll get out for break even. So sell setup, we'll put it as an active sell. Aussie yen. Aussie yen is about to hit the bottom. There's a little more downside. I don't think that's a big one. And then we'll look for a buy setup. Aussie CAD, it's coming down. And this could be a sell. If you get a flag here, sell it. So if we get a flag here, we could probably go for a sell. Let's see if we get a flag. Right? If the flag thing, if you don't have a flag, just leave it alone. Aussie, New Zealand. This one is going down. I don't like the idea of the sell here because we still expect one more. If we're going to sell here, it has to be a bigger consolidation, like something like this. And then this sell makes sense. Right, we're going to figure out this one, I don't know, contracting flat here. That's a possibility. We'll figure that out afterwards. Let's see what it does here. Big picture is downside. There's no question. The question is whether this thing is completed. So I don't think it's completed. I think they're going to probably come back here, come here, and then even go back up one more. And that's possible. So let's wait and see what it's doing. It's not a clear picture, is it? New Zealand CAD. Okay, we didn't go up much more. We were actually putting back very deep, which is not good. Well, not that deep. Actually, this one was the same. See that pull back there, and then they did this and did this. So let's expect this, come back here, do make a flat, and then that's a buy setup. See? So if we get a flat there, not a flag, a flat, because this first impulse down is not a flag impulse, is a flat impulse. So that means that most likely you're going to get a flat here, and then we're going to go up. So this one, the trade, you can leave that entry there, but I don't think it's going to attack you anytime soon. New Zealand yen. So this was a close and re-enter. I hope you did that, and I hope you did it correctly. Because if you did, you're in that trade, and it's still going, and it has a lot more to go, right? So here's what we're going to do. If we get any flag here, we're going to be selling it. I will look for this trade, and then we'll see what happens. So that's a nice trade expected to come. Let's see. Remember, the bigger picture is they're doing this, making 1, 2, 3. This here is a contracting flat, and then up move. So then that should go back up. So let's see. I like the sell. If we get the setup, we have it. New Zealand Swiss. I think we can sell it if we get a flag. We're getting flags here already. All right, you got to pull back, and this seems to make a correction. So you can go with the sell setup here. Let's see the 4 hours, what it looks like. This could be a deeper pullback. I don't think it's downside, but I think it could be something like this. So you could get something like this and then start going back up. So let's go for the sell. Put it back on the 1 hour. If the flag is perfect, let's take this out. Because it could go deeper. Cat in. This one is going already. That was a sell from yesterday if you took it. Good job. I think this could drop more. So we're going to put it like this. And the trade we would like to expect is, I think, either this one or this one. So either this one or this one. Wait for a flag again. Sell. Cat Swiss. Okay, we're getting a flag. Put an entry for the sell. It's already there. So good job. Let's see if we get this one. That's a sell. This is an active sell now. All right. Swiss yen. It's coming down a little. It's going to tag the low. We saw this morning, but we didn't get the sell setup and we didn't let it do this and then start to look for a buy setup from here. Because it will either come back to the top or it's going to break out. So the trade is a good one. If you let it break the low first, then look for the buy. Silver Oz. It seems that we broke out of this, if you remember this small channel here. We broke out of it, but we didn't really go up. Right? We kind of consolidate here. That means the likelihood of this going down is much more now. Because with this consolidation, that's more like a flag looking pattern. The up move was pretty sharp, this up move. So we'll see if they actually come down really slow. Go back up and drop, or if we get a drop on the flag, we'll sell it. So let's go to the 15, wait for the drop on the flag. Wait for this to drop. Make a flag, then go. Because that will confirm the downside. Natural gas. I'm not going through everything like a full webinar, and then we'll look at it again. We'll come back. We'll still look at forex trade. We'll still take trades on. We have it under the low here, but this is coming up, so I think we might see it come like this for running flat here, and then see if you get the trade from here to go. Right? There's times when you can get it. See this one here, that was a nice sell there if you actually look at it, right? So we're going to look for that downside, and then you can put this entry here though. That wouldn't affect. US oil. That sell if you took was good. Now let's go for another one. Let's wait for this to finish. And then go for another sell setup. Here, right? UK oil is irrelevant. Let's see this. US 30. Okay, if you're tagged on that, wait for the next step. No, keep a stop under the low. If it breaks the low, take it off. If you break this low again, take it off, because the chances are they'll still go up, but we don't know how low they're going to go after that. But if this comes back up here, I think this would be a running flat. And then upside. So if it starts to go back, take the trade. If you're still in the trade. If you're not in the trade, put an entry above the top or wait for that up move and buy it from the bottom. Wait for the bottom to go up, make a flag, and then buy. S&P 500. This is the same. I think this would be a break-even trade, because if you saw that, you'll definitely close it. How much hours is it? Yeah, I'll call it a break-even. Definitely go for a break-even there. We didn't break the low. I think we can break the low still, but this looks upside now. See this whole thing here. Once it breaks this low here, if we start to get any flag on the lower time frame, we're going for that trade. See this correction, that correction. So let's put down a 15. I wouldn't be surprised if they break the low and then go back up. Let's see. NASDAQ. By the way, anybody was in this trade? Any one of our trades took this trade? Anybody took this trade? Okay, because I was going to explain. You managed to get out here, Igor? Or you're still in? Okay, wonderful. Well done. So he took it, but he closed it. Yeah, that would be the right thing to do, because it's kind of still in this and it wasn't breaking out as yet. It will still be a buy. Let's see. NASDAQ. This would have been the same thing if you were trading it, but we had the entry above the top. So this one was good. And it's coming back to the lows. And then from there, we'll be looking for a buy setup. Let's see. Tesla. Upside. If you took this and you close it for break even, you can put an entry above the top. I think we can clearly see that it's going to be a sell setup. It's kind of do this, come here, go there, look for that drop. Right? And we could go down quite a lot. From there, I think it would come down. It could come back all the way to this bottom. So, yep, that sell setup is good. But it is a sell. That's UK 100. Where's the UK 100? It's the same thing, right? To say, I think it's the same chart. Next. Sorry, guys, this phone is. Okay, so let's go. If this consolidate here more, it will be better. If consolidate, it's a drop to this one. If we get a bigger flat, we don't have a bigger one, but let's still put the entry order for the sale. Next, it's coming down, so I don't see any trade setup here. We don't have any trade setup. Not for the buy, not for the sell. So just leave it for now. Same here, this is coming down. This one broke the low once, is breaking it twice. We have to be careful. We're still looking for upside because this is more of a correction. See? This whole thing is more of a correction for upside. It might just do this and come down back again, but still the buy would be good. So let's see if we get a buy step. The sell here is not a really good trade. I mean, there's no big potential downside at the moment. Nifty. Okay. Wait for this to consolidate some more. You can put an entry out under the low here if you want, but I think it's probably going to pull back some more into this and then drop. So it's a sell setup. You can still go with the sell. Bitcoin. Let's see if Bitcoin drop. No, it's consolidating. That would be a sell. Let this consolidate. That's a sell setup. The sell will be to break this low. And then from there, it can do either go up or keep dropping. So once we break this low, once it's come and break this low here, we can look at this as actually a correction for upside. Or if it makes another flag, it keeps dropping. So look for this sell. That sell is a valid sell we have there. It's an entry order already, ready to go. Let's see. ETH, same thing, wait for a flag sell. XRP, already going down, but we don't have any. At this point, this could still go back up or break through and come back, retest it. So if it break, come back, we're retesting this low. So this sell is not a bad idea. Because if this comes down, we're coming down, probably make a flag, come down, make a flag, come down here. We're going to get this. And we still go back up before we drop. We're going to get this one. Okay. So now we wait. If you get sell setups, take it. ADA. I think we wait. If it consolidates here, it'll go up to the top. Right, we can get all the way to this top here. Especially if you get a consolidation there. And BNB. Yeah, it's kind of very quiet. I don't think you want to trade this. Not going anywhere. This will probably come back here and go back up. Right, so if you get that trade, it's going to go right back up and then drop again. Dash. Yep, this is downside. I think we're clear that that is a flat and this could drop. So if you get a sell setup there, take it. Let's see in the 1 hour if you have a sell setup there. Not exactly a sell. I would say wait for this to come down, make a flag, and then trade it. Wait for a flag here. It's not a flag, clear flag, but wait for something like this here. And then we go for that trade. AVA. I think the same thing. They all have sell setups. Sol might be the only one that has buy setups, not sell. Right? Wait for this flag and take the trade to the upside. Put an entry order above the top. That one is a good trade. It could be a running flat. This is more downside. This is definitely more downside. You can see that already. This is going to consolidate, drop. And this is more upside. Actually, if there was a flag here, you could buy it if you didn't buy the flag, because we didn't put the entry here. This is a big one. Wait for a flag and then buy. There's a lot more upside to this. You're looking for a move the equivalent of this. See that? Something like that we're looking for. So if we can get that, that'd be great. You're at the bottom, so any flag, any correction would be good buy. We had a running flat, so if you buy the running flat, it's okay. If not, wait for a flag and then buy it. It does make a flag, right? We'll make a flag here and then go for the trade. So we've completed that. What we're going to do right now is take some questions, and then we're going to go back, look at charts that have active trades or have a trade forming, and then we'll decide what to do with those, right? So let's see. What happened to yen? Can you explain? I think I actually look at the yen already. When you say what happened there, what do you mean? Because I don't know what you mean by what happened to it. It's trading normal like everything else, nothing much. You have to tell me what you're expecting or what you thought that happened or so I can explain. Nothing happened to it, right? It's just going there. Gold active trade. Okay, let's take a look at the gold trade. Thanks. This is, yeah, gold. Let's see, we go to 1 hour. You're buying for the correction. Okay, it actually went up and tagged, right? Yeah, I know there'll be that running flat possibility now, right? So that puts you in a dilemma. Don't worry, keep your stop lower. Keep your stop under the low even. So I thought they'll stop here and then come back, but they went tag you. So now they're coming. This is still more of a running flat. So if you're in a trade, don't worry, your stop is here. If this starts to consolidate here, we'll close it. If it goes back up, that's your trade. If you're not in the trade, this has become even a little more, much more better now, in that you just put the entry order right above that top again. So I'll put 2 entry orders. So we remind ourselves what we had. We had an entry order above this top that tagged us, and we have an entry order above the top if you're not in the trade. I think, again, this is more of a running flat now. Something like this, and then upside. So let's wait and see. For those who are in this trade, you don't have to close it as yet. It either goes back up or it starts to go sideways, and then we'll close it. Let's go. Any other trades, anything else? Anyone, anything you want to look at? Okay, sorry, that's me. I'll wait for the questions to come in because there's a 50 second, there's like a long delay, I think 20 to 50 seconds delay. IDEX USDT. As we're looking for. Oh, you're dropping already. This one is easy. Wait for flag sell. Right, so what you're doing is you're going now back for this here. You probably have to go back up for that. You'll still have to come back for this one. And you still have to go back for this one. And then you'll complete this here. And when you complete that, you might still be in all of this. I'm not sure all of this is not part of that whole thing. Okay. So go back to the daily. There's a series of trades you can look for. I want to see the daily in the bigger structure. Oh, we haven't broken the low in any one of those. So this could be a running flat here. Or we're contracting flat a little. And this should drop one more. So the sell is not a bad idea. Go back to the 1 hour, wait for it. Let's see. Wait for a flag sell. If you can sell it, wait for a flag sell. Because the sell is a good idea. Okay, what else? Can you go over majors, please? Okay, Pawan, we'll do that. Before we close, we'll do that. Euro USD can go lower. Yes, it can go lower. So let's go back to Euro USD. I'm going to go through all the majors. Let's put it that way, right? So dollar index. It's going up. You can still buy, but it could turn anytime. Remember, in an hour, we have news. In our 15 minutes, we have some news coming up. So you just have, that's just kind of warning sign. You want to buy this when it consolidates more, not let it tag you during track. Let it consolidate and then buy. Silver, if this makes a flag here, we're buying, and right now it's making a flag, right? This is making a flag, and that's a buy setup. If this drops lower, then it wouldn't be. Gold, you're tagged in the buy already, and now we'll just wait to see what happens. These are aggressive trades on lower time frame, right? So, like I said, I still think it's going to go back up. Let's see, you know, if you're in the trade, we'll decide what happens, whether we need to close it or stay with it. Euro, it will come up. This will come back up. I think this should come back up here, make a flat, and then drop. So if we get a flat, that's a sell setup. Fung is not going anywhere. It's kind of like consolidating here. This is starting to look like a running flat. So if it comes here, I'll put an entry over here to see what it is drops. Right? If it's going to continue to go up, you wouldn't be in the trade. You'd wait for it to break this top, and then you wait for flag to buy. Aussie making another flag, but they're not really going far from each other, right? So you're getting another flag here. That's another drop. So we had this little flag here, and then they drop this much. You get this one, they'll probably drop more, make another one drop, make another one, eventually it's upside. Those are small trades. New Zealand, same thing. If we get a flag, we start buying. Let us make a flag here, and then we go for the trade. Yen, put it in the, you should be in this trade already. It's kind of here for how long? Let me see. 2 hours. So if it doesn't go in the next hour, we close the trade. And Swiss. Swiss is kind of slow. I wouldn't be buying it here. We'll most likely look for a sell during the news. We'll see. And CAD. Yep, if CAD comes down, if we wanted to drop, make a flag, we're going to go for this trade down. One move down and then up. So let's see. SMCI. Okay, let's see what that is. I don't think I have that one. Is it just SMC or SMCI? Oh, SMCI, right? We got it. Oh, yeah, nice. Well done. Good job. That's a nice one, and you're already the top of that running flat. It's already the top of this running flat. All you have to do is wait for this to give you either here or at the top there. From the top is a better idea. Good job. See, you guys are getting it. Wait for the setup though, because it can go higher, right? This can go higher. This can work its way up all the way to the top here and then come back down and then go. So assume it's going to go down from here. Make that assumption, wait for the setups. Let it come down like this. If you trade, go for that trade. You can do that on a lower time frame. Go to the 1 hour and do it, or go to the 15 minutes and do it. All right, so what you want to happen is you want this here to kind of break the top, come here, make a flag, and then start selling. Nice one, Joe. Thank you. See, that's why we like to have people in the group, because the more people, the more suggestions, the better you get, right? More trades. It's a good job. Anything else you guys want to look at? Let's go. Tell me what else you want to look at. So let's look at trades that we could get, right? The euro yen, put that entry order on. That's a really good trade. The other trades that you're in already, they're gone, right? So you can take Aussie for a short sell if you want, but you have to be careful that in less than an hour, or it's exactly an hour, you have news. So if this thing doesn't move in an hour, you will have to close it before the news. You definitely don't want to be in a sell at the bottom here during the news, right? Because if you're in a sell at the bottom here during the news, you can get yourself in really big trouble, right? The news, even before the news, they might just do this and then start reversing. Let's say that during the news, we might not even sell Aussie. Right? We might look for an opposite trade. If it drops, we'll find something else that has a potential for a drop. Not the Aussie. Maybe the Pong. I think the Pong has a better potential for a drop than the Aussie. Although Aussie can drop, but we will probably short the Pong and we'll long Aussie. We'll long New Zealand. Euro. We'll see. The news is 6 o'clock, right? I'll come in the trading room with you guys. So our traders, trading room, 5:45, I'll be there. So yesterday I came back and there were only like 5 people, but it was a non-event, so good thing you guys didn't come. I don't know what today is going to be, right? I can't tell if it's going to be a good one or a non-event. 15 minutes Bitcoin, let's see. 15 minutes Bitcoin is still a sell. I don't think the 15 minutes chart changed anything. It's still a sell. Yeah, it's still a sell. And probably not inside here. Wait under the low. Because it can go back up, right? You see the sharp one here? Right, this can come here and go back up. That would be a flat. And then this can drop. So don't trade this as yet. Keep under the low and wait. If it goes back up, then try to see if you get a smaller one there. Then that would make sense. So one more up is possible, Michael. Keep it safe away. Okay, anything else? Anybody in any trade, any questions? You guys have questions on anything? It doesn't have to be about a chart in specific. The question this morning was a nice one, and that allows me to explain a little about the chart. So, okay, so charts are going to get quiet for the next hours. At least the majors are going to get quiet for the next hour, right? Until after the news. So we can sit there and stare at the chart, but I don't think you're going to have anything moving for the next hour. And after that, maybe we start yet. How do you assess market risk? What do you mean by market risk? We don't really assess the market risk. What we assess is risk on every given pair that we trade, right? Risk in terms of the trade we're about to take. I think what you're talking about is the fundamental market movement, which you think that you can analyze something somewhere and understand the risk in the market in general. If that's what you're asking, we don't do that. And trust me, anybody on YouTube who is doing that has no idea what he's talking about. Literally has no idea what he's talking about. If you're going to analyze the fundamental market risk, you would have to be a little bigger than Bloomberg. Yeah, you may have to have a staff a little bigger than Bloomberg. Or like the American Feds. If you have a staff that size that you can collect all that data and analyze it and do it, then yes, you're good to go to do that. If you're somebody sitting in your basement making YouTube videos like me, well, I don't have a basement, but you get my point. If you're sitting in your basement making YouTube videos, you don't have access to those information. You know nothing what you're talking about. But I see traders do that all the time. I see a lot of retail traders that come on and, oh, we're waiting for the Fed news this, and they're going to say this, and this is how it's going to react. And I'm like, okay, good for you. At least you know something the rest of the world doesn't know. But they don't know it. And when we trade the news, we don't really trade the news. If any one of you have ever been with us when we trade the news, I think we did it a few times on YouTube. We don't trade the news. We trade something called momentum strategy. For me, I don't care what the news is. It doesn't matter even what the news. I don't sometimes know the news I'm trading. I don't know what it is. What we are trading is the moment of the news, the moment they will use to move the market. We will trade patterns that we see. So if we see a sell, we're going to put a sell setup. If we see buy, we'll put a buy setup. It doesn't matter what the news is. It doesn't matter how they react to the news. So when we said we're going to trade the news, what we're going to do is follow something called momentum trading, which we're trying to catch momentum during the news. And, I have a bet right now going on as to whether the market is being moved by news or whether it is moved during the news. Those are two different things. So I met this guy in Dubai who says market moves by the news, and he actually put a bet out on me. Well, we'll see. The 16th of October, we'll know the results of the bet. I think he said the Feds are going to talk on the 16th of October. They're going to be talking about interest rates or something like that. I don't know. I haven't even followed, but I think he said on the 16th, they will be discussing interest rates because he's the fundamental guy. He looked at it. And his idea is that if they, let me make sure I get that correct before. His idea, because I write it down, his idea was that if they increase the interest rates, markets are going to drop. Everything. Bloodbath. I think he said, right? If the interest rate goes up, market is going to go down. If the interest rate goes down, market is going to go up. It might happen that way. I'm not saying it's not going to happen there, but that will be more of a coincidence. Because if there is a sell setups on all the charts, it doesn't matter what they do with interest rates. It's going to drop. Regardless, if there are sell setups, it's going to drop. That will be explained very easily. The market is factoring it already. The sentiments are not right. All kinds of stuff they will explain it. But if there's a sell setup, the market is going to drop. The probability of that market drop is really high. And sometimes everybody was, if they invest in that, then nothing happens. Like literally nothing happens. And then everybody says, the market factored it in already. Well, if they can factor in it now, why don't they factor it all the time? Like in all the news, it's already factored in. So there is no question of trading the news. There's no point in trading the news, sorry. This is already factored in, or the sentiments are not right. I'm 100% convinced the market, one moment of the news is not what is moving the market. They don't wait for you to say something and then they will react to that. That's not how the market works. It doesn't react to what one person say in a given moment. Even if they want to react to what that person said in a given moment, it will be a 6 months reaction, a year reaction, not a 1 moment reaction, right? It's a prepared reaction. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, the Fed will talk their way into not owing the world $21 trillion. How much do they own, by the way? The last time I checked, 21 trillion. I might be outdated, right? Because they're sending a lot of money to Ukraine, so it should be about 25 trillion by now. In reality, if you call the amount of money that is being funneled into Ukraine, not the ones they say they're giving, but the actual amount that is being funneled there, it should be about 21 trillion, the Feds, the US government or the Feds. So 20-something trillion. If you could talk your way out of something, why would you owe anybody? If what you say moves the market, you're so powerful that what you say can move the market. Would you, I take any one of you individually, just think of you as an individual person and you can move the market. Would you owe anybody anything? Like reality, click. Would you owe anybody anything if you could create the market and you can make it go where you want it to go? I don't think you will owe anybody anything. I think the rest of the world will be owing you a lot because you have control over where you want it to go and how you're going to deal with that, right? Well, if you owe everybody, then you don't really have control. It's sometimes you just have to look at the simple things and understand that it's not that, it's something else, right? It's not the news, it's something else. It's more than the news. Right? People like simplicity. I know a human brain likes simplicity. We like simple explanation for everything. We don't like it to be difficult. It breaks the brain when it's too difficult. We want a simple explanation to everything in the world. And especially with the internet, oh boy, everybody that has access to an internet has an opinion, and a very strong opinion out of ignorance. The more ignorant they are on the topic, the stronger their opinion are on it. So you go on Facebook or anywhere there, you're surprised how many people have opinions and think they actually have nothing. They have zero knowledge of, but they have an opinion. Well, we all have the right to an opinion. So if you believe that, believe it. If you don't, well, then what else am I going to tell you? It's the same thing you can say to me. If I believe that, I believe it. If not, then nothing else. We have to have some kind of beliefs, right? And it has to be supported by something. So we will see. The 16th, I'm either going to buy somebody a dinner or I'm going to get a free dinner. That's the bet. We'll see what happens. Okay, what else? Tell me what else you guys want to take. On NVDA, sorry, I didn't check that out. Okay, NVDA, somebody asking YouTube. Let's see. Making a flat for drop, let's see, maybe. Nope, that's not a flat for drop. That's actually upside. You can see, right? Look backwards and just you see all of them. Every time you see that, even this one that has nothing to do with that, right? This is different, but it looks the same, right? This one is actually this flat. And that drop, right? And then a reversal, a flat here, a correction, a flat here. This is a flat here, see? This is some kind of a flat, we'll figure that flat. This is gonna go back and break the top. If you're looking in the 5 minutes, if you're looking in the 15 minutes, it's still going up. If you're looking at the 1 hour, it's still going up. This is still going up. On the 1 hour, there's a possibility that this up is short-lived. It could do this, and then we might be looking at a possible running flat. If you're talking about this one, then yes, let it go up first, let you get a turn, let you see that same thing I showed you there happen here, and then go for the sell. See this first before you sell. See? So it has to drop, make that, then sell. I wouldn't be sure if it's making a running flat there. Let's see. Let's go back to the bigger picture. I want to see the 4 hours. Yeah, somebody asked me about this, and this was a flag, and this was supposed to go up, which it did. So now it dropped. It made this one. It come here. It's doing this. This means it's doing this, and it could probably come here and then go back. So let it go up some more. There's some more up. Don't buy it now. And let it go up some more first. Let that flag finish what it's doing on the 1 hour and the 15 minutes. Let this finish. And actually, it's a buy if you're a short-term trader. If you're an investor, then yes, you wait for it to do this and then look for this one. So I'll put it somewhere here. I'll assume they have at least one more. And then watch for the reversal. Right? Up like this, come back here, do this, and then go for that trade. That should help. That should make sense. Okay, guys, the news is in less than an hour, and New Zealand is already messing with our trade. New Zealand is already going up. Like I said, we'll buy New Zealand, but if it keeps going up like this, it's going to really mess with us. I hope it stop and consolidate somewhere. Yep. Don't go up. So we want New Zealand. Here's what we want. We want New Zealand to stay here for the next hour. And then that becomes a really good trade. Let's see. So I'll see all my traders in the trading room in about less than in 40 minutes. In 40 minutes, I'll see you guys in the trading room. To the YouTube viewers, thank you for coming. Trade with care. See all of you tomorrow, London and New York session. Don't forget to invite a friend. So we should have double the amount of people we have in the room tomorrow. Right? Take care. Trade with care. See you tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Bye.